What's up, everybody? You're hanging with Hero Lair, another trailer reaction. Today we got Duncan Jones' much anticipated video game adaptation of Warcraft. Who's played Warcraft?
I played it back in the day on
Way
computer.
back in the day?
Yeah,
I played with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Warcraft
Yeah,
at all?
no, just never my thing.
Okay.
Never
No.
my thing. So it's like I have nothing about these characters or anything.
It's really, I think it's been in development for like 3 years. They've been taking it to Comic-Con for about, I think 3 or 4 years now that they've been working on it. I haven't seen any footage at all, so this footage right now,
Neither
this
have I.
first
I've
official
seen
trailer.
nothing. I've seen nothing.
I've heard bad things though.
Yeah.
Right? We're optimists on the couch. Right?
Yeah.
We're optimists.
Yeah.
But what I've heard from people who have been at Comic-Con and seen the stuff, looking like video game cutscenes. Right? So maybe a little, and this is something in anticipation of this, I'm hoping for more Lord of the Rings than Hobbit.
Yeah.
You know, the Hobbit movies had
Yeah.
that video game cutscene kind of feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Lord of the Rings was like that orc is real.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
running
yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
So I'm well, I got an open mind. I'll see it.
Yeah,
I know Ragnar from Vikings, which I know me and you
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
love.
yeah.
He plays one of the main
really?
human characters.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
but
Travis Tamel. Yeah.
yeah, I
Right,
think so.
Travis
Yeah,
Tamel, yeah.
yeah. So here we go, guys. Warcraft.
I'm interested to see what this is going to be. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to make it gritty or it's going to be like overly fancy.
For years, our world has been at peace. But something is coming. I can feel it.
Ragnar.
Dark forces are upon us. Find these beasts, whatever they are.
Our world is dying. There is nothing to go back to. If our people are to survive, we must make a home here.
Wow.
Whatever happens.
Whatever happens. If we do not unite, our world will perish.
This doesn't need to happen. There is one who may help us.
For orcs, there is no other life but war. No, but with the humans' help, there could be.
Why are you here?
To save our people.
Can we trust him?
They don't look like they need saving.
Yeah. No shit.
You just throw a horse.
So I think he's got this.
We'll protect the king. You and I.
You side with the humans.
Oh yeah, it's epic. It's all
Yeah, yeah. It
This is suicide. We have no
is. Yeah.
choice.
Wow.
We should attack with full force.
The she-hag from Beowulf.
you plan to do it now!
Fucking Eagles, man.
Yeah.
They always save you.
Any of these fantasy movies. I bet you they could have solved the problems with a lot of those, just like they did. They couldn't in Lord of the Rings. Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, what do you guys
Okay,
do?
so for me,
Yeah.
I thought I really enjoyed a lot of it. I think the orcs are overdone.
It's hit or miss for me.
Yeah, like
Which seems to be like whenever it's a sprawling kind of landscape, and we got to admit this comes out June 2016, so there's a lot of time to finish these things up, and there's so many hours put in. There were certain shots where they were close-up shots. I'm like, that looks amazing. You see the detail, but then another one's like fighting motion and everything else. Then it really hits the CGI cutscene.
I don't think I'm talking so much about like the more minute details. What I'm talking about is, in the video games and like the computer games. Like I get it, they're like accentuating the so because you have these kind of the infantry moving around on the screen. You want to kind of see the tusk and whatever.
Yeah.
In the movie, you don't have to exaggerate. It's like stage makeup. You put stage makeup on because everything's far away.
It is far
but
away,
when like you don't have to have tusks that are like that thick jumping out of the mouth. They just don't look proper. They were just too large. They looked almost like animated. They look like cartoonish in a way because you know what I mean. They lost a bit of their gritty realism because they were overdone, overbearing kind of characters.
I think that kind of helps because I've seen posters of them and up close shots of like Ogrim and the other big orc, and they put some real cool like it's almost as if they're savage beasts mixed with a tribal like native.
Oh, I like that. Like the Black Rock clan, they used to do that from the get-go.
And then there's like interesting piercings on the tusks and interesting like war feathers and everything else that they wear. That when I see those shots in close up, now I believe them more as a race.
Yeah.
So you say overdoing, to me they're dressing them like a civilization or like a group. So I kind of like all that.
No, stuff. I like all of the branding into their, because they have the Black Rock clan, the Sun Tooth clan. They had these kind of clans originally, and I like that each of them, and some of them are different skin colors because they're actually different races of orc. Yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that like one of their deltoids is like this.
I think it's physicality.
I'm talking about I'm just talking about one of their deltoids is like this large. Right. Yeah. Their quads are like this big compared to, you know what I mean? They're like overdone in terms of like a creature. Yeah. Like the tusks don't even, their mouths are closed in a way that couldn't close over tusks that are that big. Yeah. The tusks are like this. Yeah. Like it just there's a cartoonish thing about them. That's the only thing. Aside from that, I thought it was really interesting, and like it seemed like it was going to be like, and what you don't get oftentimes. Sorry, I'm hogging conversation. Okay, but like what you don't get oftentimes is both sides. So they're not just the bestial other. There's like a humanity that's given to both sides, which I find.
Well, yeah, I like that too. Definitely, I saw that too. Like, kind of like, I really like what Cameron did with Avatar and the Nefredi and those and you couldn't get. I would have expected a little bit more of that with these orcs, right? They didn't. You're right though. They were exaggerated. They're too blown up. I almost saw a lot of. Remember the original Hulk that came out, the Ang Lee Hulk, and those creatures, and how everything was all jacked up and like almost
way too big,
way too big, way too muscular. I got a sense of that from these orcs.
Yes,
like, that original Ang Lee Hulk.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? And it was almost like I would have preferred more of like the Cameron Nefredi route with subtle, like just kind of exaggerated human proportions, but not so much that they're now like these like
cartoonish,
very cartoonish.
Yeah. And I think that kind of took me out as well, because I don't think anyone's done it better than Peter Jackson's Uruk-hai.
The Hand of Saruman ones.
They all looked great. The facial makeup, the size. Yeah, they were still bigger than everybody else. Yeah. But they weren't to the point of what you were saying.
To the point of being ridiculous.
These ogres were the size of Hulk, like the Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They were Hulk size.
Yeah, and how and if they're going to be in combat with humans, how are we going to believe that? I just saw one throw a horse.
Yeah.
How are they going to fight a human being? How are you going to block an axe blow from one of those things?
I
got this, guys.
Exactly.
they'll have Valyrian steel or something.
Yeah. It has to be something of that nature. Like, it's too much. Like, I did like in the trailer itself, I thought was a little too quickly cut for the vastness of the landscape. Like, one of those things, like, you saw, like, in going back to, like, Lord of the Rings or even The Hobbit, is like when you saw trailers or when you watch the footage, cinematography means so much to these films. Yeah. So you want to see the vastness of the landscape. You want to see the plains that they're going to be fighting on. And this was too jump cut for that. Like, as a trailer, like, you watch a lot of the original trailers of like Lord of the Rings, and they're like these sweeping cameras and sweeping looks at like both sides of the battles, and like even going back to Braveheart, you know, you kind of pan across both armies and see both armies, and you kind of get that feel and that anticipation.
You just want a bit more immersion. You want a bit more immersion into each.
Yeah, like here it was too jumpy. Yeah. It was too jumpy, like, which works in like regular action films, works in like things like industrial type action films where everything's kind of close knit, and like the cinematography. There's not as much to see. Yeah. So you use creative photography and creative cinematography to your benefit. But here it was like, no, let me kind of immerse myself more and get into these. And you're right, and seeing the characters, and they had talks with the characters, and you're right, like they were trying to humanize them in certain scenes, but it was just very jumped, and it just seemed, the whole thing seemed rushed to me.
Mm-hmm. They've been working on it for a hell of a long time, and I can imagine that they'll be rendering different scenes pretty much right up until it premieres.
Well, what did you think about the actions in, like, you didn't get to, like, you talked about with the quality. What did you think about, like, story and stuff like that?
The story is what's really intriguing to me because it's not just, oh, here's these invading ugly foes. Let's kill them. No, it's more than that. It's I think they're really gonna have
invading ugly foes.
Yeah, like no, they're ugly, they're evil. We're white with beautiful hair. We're good guys.
Exactly. The egocentric.
I'm on board for this.
Egocentric. Right?
No, because we're gonna care for Ogrim. We're gonna care about his little Shrek baby. And you know, and there will, and I'm sure there'll be just like on the human side, they'll be very evil kind of characters. So from that aspect, I think it'll be something new. It did lean more Hobbit than Lord of the Rings to me, though.
Right?
Which isn't good. I mean, I watch cutscene movies as well. Like I'll throw on like the cutscenes of a video game and watch them. So I do enjoy that. But overall, I do prefer the more realistic looking kind of Lord of the Rings style. But look, we're gonna be there. I'll be there in IMAX 3D or whatever the hell it's for. We're gonna fish it out. So I'm sure, and they got a lot of time to kind of fix it up. But no, I'm excited. It looks cool. All right, guys, let us know what you thought of the World of Warcraft trailer, and if you're excited for us. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter @TheHeroLair, and we'll be back with you real soon. Bye.
See you guys.